I would love to see how you forecast chemical needs. That's one thing you've talked about in the past, and you said you use exports to do that.
Yeah, definitely. So if you wanted to use exports just to kind of forecast what you're going to do, let's do it the same way. We can do it with the data with a slicer, again, just to be consistent. And we want to forecast how many chlorine tablets we're going to need. So that's my beyond tabs. And we're going to go ahead and apply that. And then basically I want to look at everything except for the zeros. And now I can look at it. We'll find that correct tab here. And just as easy as I'm going to highlight the whole row. I like to hold down Shift and Control and then just arrow down. And it tells me that I use right here 835 tablets in the month of June. So that tells me pretty reliably that I'm going to need about that same number when I'm looking at the month of July. So, that's 8.3 buckets roughly, and about 100 tablets in a bucket. So it's pretty easy for us to figure out, all right, let's make sure we have, at least 8.5 buckets on site ready to go in this example. So it makes it pretty easy to forecast for your next month. And you can obviously, the more data that you put together, you can start to filter it by each month, and you can look at previous years and you can really figure out how many tablets you're going to use on average for each pool.
Bryce, let's say you're growing your business, which I know you are. So, let's say you used a certain amount of tabs in the month of June and you've added some new customers and you want to figure out how much you're going to need for the month of July. Does gallonage figure into how you calculate, what you'll need for July?
Yeah, definitely. You're cheating. You looked at the tab I have down here, but so if we actually, what I've done here is create a pivot table, and just for fun, we're gonna do it again. I'm just gonna erase what we have here. It's that easy. It's gonna take us just 2 seconds. I think a lot of times when people hear others, we'll say spreadsheet nerds like us talk about pivot tables, it's really intimidating. They're like, oh, I hear those are really complicated. But it's so easy, and let's do it together. So we're going to insert a pivot table, and what it wants first is your data range. And if you click on this, it even gives you suggested stuff. In this case, it's suggesting the correct one. I want the service history export. So perfect. And then let's just do it on this existing sheet. Here it's just asking where you want to put it, and we want to put it right here. So this is the part that maybe gets a little bit scary. You can see it gives us some suggestions, and sometimes the suggestions are right on for what you're looking for. Most of the time they're not. So we're going to go ahead and fill it out. Rows, this is going to be your main category that you're wanting to segment by. In this case, we were talking about actually looking at pools by gallons. So I'm going to dig through here and find gallons. And now it's showing a list of all the different pools by size that we have. Next, I can add different values to it. And what we're looking for is how many tabs do each of these pools use. So if I pull it up, pools that are different sizes by their gallons, I can find out exactly how many different tabs that each of these pools is using. And then we can come over here, even from this information, we can kind of divide these numbers. It's not
so Bryce, this is implying that a pool with pools, the total number of pools that have a size of 20,000 gallons in aggregate consumed 17 tabs.
Yeah.
Or is, okay.
Exactly. So it's adding up all the tabs they used for this period of time that we have. So, but the reason I'm really pulling this apart, you can see there's definitely some things that don't make sense. If for some reason we have some gallons that show 0, that's some work that we'll have to fix. These are probably small fountains or spas. They didn't really use any chlorine. So, not all these numbers are exactly perfect for what we wanted to equal out to. But what we're able to do by pulling this information is to get an average amount of tabs that we use per gallon. And then what we'll be able to do with that is actually just have some actionable information about figuring out how many gallons of water that we're going to be servicing, and then
Yeah. So if we add another 20,000 gallon pool, we have a rough estimate of how much we think it's going to need in the coming month,
yeah,
just
exactly.
based on the history.